What up, guys? Man, it feels like the school year just got started. What are we in, like Unit 3 or something? It must be Unit 6. Oh my goodness gracious, guys. Where has the school year gone? We are already on Unit 6. We are rolling along. You guys just finished talking about the judicial branch, the Supreme Court, and now we're talking about the Constitution and civil liberties. I can't believe it. I cannot believe how quickly things have come along. But we're going to look at and we're going to analyze and explain why rights are not absolute. We're going to analyze and interpret the Bill of Rights. We're going to interpret and defend the Supreme Court interpretations of rights guaranteed by the Constitution. And we're going to compare and contrast a very important contrast between state and federal constitutions. The need for a constitution. Why do we even have one? Let me change around some things on my way I'm doing my computer, because no one wants to see my face. They want to see the work. There it is. Alright, so after successfully breaking away from the British Empire, the American states were faced with a new issue: to create a government that embodied the values of popular sovereignty, meaning voting. People get to vote for their rights. Individual rights, meaning people had their rights, they could never be taken away by a king. And limited power, meaning that the king just can't do whatever they want. The Founding Fathers sought to build a system that prevented abuses of tyranny, but at the same time was powerful enough to avoid the crisis experienced under the Articles of Confederation. Because as you remember from your portfolio, the Articles of Confederation were weak and they really couldn't get anything done. What is the relationship between the government and its people? How can government power be limited while still giving it enough power to act when necessary? And what are individual rights compatible with the promotion of the public good? In grappling with these questions, the Founding Fathers often returned to a series of fundamental questions that helped to ultimately set up the structure of the U.S. Constitution. Is it humane? Is it humane? Well, yeah, I think it is. But is human nature fundamentally good or bad? To what extent does the government need to exert the rule of law to govern its citizens and achieve civic order? And to what extent does the government require internal checks on its power? Okay, back once again to checks and balances. During this lesson, you'll need to do the pretest, please. 9 questions to see what you know. Pretests aren't a big deal, but try to see how much you learn when you go through these lessons. Lesson 3. Who needs government? Why don't we just do a little anarchy? Don't do anarchy. Anarchy is not going to work. Why do we need government? Let me tell you some reasons we need government. Are government necessary, or can societies... Sorry, I'm trying to set things up because I don't want you to see the anarchy too long. You might rebel on me. Are governments necessary, or can societies function without them? Some people believe that governments cause more problems than they solve. Anarchists. They believe governments destroy liberty than protect it. Anarchists believe that government and laws are unnecessary. Anarchy is the root of the word anarchist, which means a situation of confusion and wild behavior due to a lack of rules or laws. In a state of anarchy, there would be no tranquility, and there would not be much peace. There would be instability, and there will be violence. Try examining these questions through a different lens. If the specified area of law was abolished, do you think it would lead to peace and tranquility? Well, let's look at them. Traffic laws, no speed limits, that'd be fun. Deadly. Inspection cars would be fun. Probably pollutants, though. A lot of people would die. Drug law, a lot of people would die. Public health law, a lot of people would die. Family law, people could do whatever they want to. It would probably not be best. Anarchy, bad. Some of you are like, the Amish are going anarchy, good. Well, I don't think we're going to settle that in a 10-minute video, but that's why it's fun to argue over government. And that's why we have a democracy to decide what we want. Social contract theories. Yes, let's do this now. Do you recall where the Founding Fathers looked for inspiration in creating the U.S. Constitution? You might remember old Hobbes and Locke right here. They They also grapple with questions about human nature and whether citizens and our governments could be trusted. Human nature refers to the way of thinking, feeling, and acting that is common among most people. There's old Hobby Hobbes and old Locky Lock. Hobbes and Locke. This screen's still too big. Let me make it a little smaller for you. There you go, Mr. Gall. Thank you. You're welcome. Hobbes and Locke lived through both the English Civil War, and yet they came to very different conclusions about the human nature of the purpose of government. Hobbes had a low opinion of people, calling them mostly greedy and selfish. I can see it a little bit. He believed the purpose of government was to establish an order to protect the people from themselves. Without a government, Hobbes felt the citizenry would be unruly. So he advocated for an absolute monarchy that would empower order and obedience. Yeah, I'm thinking of the classroom. If, back in bricks and mortar, if there was not the leader of the classroom up front, it would be kind of crazy. Yeah, it was nuts. So yeah. I see where he's coming from. I'm not saying people are bad, but I see where he's coming from. Locke, he had a more positive view of human nature. He believed that most people were reasonable, moral human beings. Yeah, I can see that too a little bit. Unlike Hobbes, he believed the purpose of government was to protect people's natural rights. Oh, I'm going to say it, guys. The right to life, liberty, and to own stuff. Property. Hobbes advocated for governments created by the people rather than governments imposed on the people. Now, well, that's kind of nice. So the people can create their government and they can work on it together. And making sure the government doesn't get too powerful. I like it. That seems like the American ideal. Social contract theory addresses the ties between citizen governments. A social contract is an agreement between organized groups and its rulers that outlines the limits and rights and duties of each. I like that. Good stuff. Yeah. So, basically what we get from this is that when they set the Constitution, they used old Locke there and old Hobbesy there and their views. And, one was a grump and one was an idealist. And they came together and formed this just beautiful piece of government called the American Constitution. And some of you guys are like, no, Mr. God, it stinks. Well, we're not going to solve that argument today. But, let me get this out of the way. Sorry, guys. Okay. All right, moving on. I lost my train of thought there. Okay. Constitution of failures. As evident throughout this lesson, Constitution has balanced the authority of governments has to enforce laws with the internal controls of limiting government power, meaning we want the government to be strong, but not too strong, yo. Whoa. Hold it back. There have been many occasions throughout history when societies were unable to maintain this balance. The following table presents examples of deliberate and calculated government actions designed to restrict liberties and enforce. So, Germany and the decree of the Reich President for the protection of the people, probably not good. Executive Order 9066, authorizing the Secretary of War to prescribe military areas. The war to the United States authorized relocation of 100,000 Japanese in internment camps because they were deemed a national threat, even though they were Americans. That's pretty bad time in American history. No, it's not. Yes, it is. I'm not going to argue with that one. That was a bad time in American history. Burma citizenship law, group areas. Lots of times where the governments have been a little too greedy, a little too powerful, a little too not really protecting our natural rights. So interesting stuff there, but we're always trying to find that balance as constitutional successes. You may conclude that the balanced authority must exist in order to prevent abuses of government power. That's exactly what I've been trying to say. You said it for me, Connexus. There have been many occasions throughout history when societies were able to maintain the balance. The following table contains examples of government actions designed to protect individual rights and promote the common good. Many of these government actions were byproducts of citizens going, yo, we need this done. Can we get this done? There's like 100,000 of us in the streets saying, let's get this done. Done? Can we get done? So you get the Voting Rights of 1965. Hey, can we allow minorities to vote, please? It's ridiculous. They can't. South, stop being so racist. Represent the People of Equal Franchise Act. That's in United Kingdom, Argentina, to reflect LGBTQ rights, and other fun things right there. This video, I haven't watched it, but make sure you watch it. The Unbalanced Government. All right, angels and governments. Oh, the Federalist Papers. What is government itself? But the greatest of all reflections on human nature. If men were angels, no government would be necessary. If angels were to govern men, neither external nor internal controls in government would be necessary. Oh, beautifully said. Hey guys, if we were all angels, we wouldn't need a government because we would all be just wonderful. And if all government politicians were angels, we wouldn't need to kind of restrict their power and have laws to make sure they don't over. So that's just basically saying we're not perfect. We try to be good, but we're not perfect. Great. All right. So you're going to take that quote, which was beautiful, and answer those 4 questions. Do it for me, Mr. Galt. No, you do it yourself. Do you like that? Sometimes I think you think of me because you can't see my face, but I'm just trying to be entertaining. All right, here is the summarizing topics and limited government, anarchy, bad, constitutional failures, constitutional successes, kind of everything we discussed. And then, is it a quick check or is it a quiz? Looks like it's a quiz. Quick check. So very important right here, talking about why our government's set up the way it is. Why do we have, guys, beware, I'm about to show my face. Why do we have, here I am. Why do we have government set the way we do? Why is some of the government, instead of like, hey, I think people are actually good people, and therefore we make sure they have their rights and liberties, and some of the government's like, actually, guys, if we let people do what they want, it's going to be kind of crazy out there, we can't be doing that. And so that's what we're talking about. These set up the arguments that people have on TV every day, and some of you are like, dude, keep the politics away from me. Well, you're in government, so that's how we talk about it. And if you learn this stuff in the future, these arguments are around, you can ignore their arguments, but at least know what they're talking about. This has been Mr. Galt. This has been Unit 6, Lesson 1, and this has been a blast. If you have questions for me, just that's me webmailing. All right, thanks. Bye.